What is up, everybody, and welcome to FLW Videos. In today's episode, we are going to be talking about the top 5 game-breaking strategies in Pokemon Go. These are going to absolutely increase your effectiveness as a trainer. So over time, there have been a couple of issues that have kind of occurred in the game, but luckily for us, a lot of people have really done some research to find some ways around it, and it has been super beneficial to the community. I'm personally very excited to get into this. If you have done these strategies and want to vouch for them, definitely do so in the comment section below. And for all of those new players to Pokemon Go who are just now learning because of this video, definitely let me know if you ended up learning something new from it. But with all of that being said, if you do enjoy this type of content, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. So the first tip that we need to talk about is something known as the quick catch method. If you are not familiar with this, the idea behind it is that you can save so much time on the Pokemon that you catch, therefore you have the opportunity to catch more Pokemon in the same timing duration as if you weren't doing the quick catch method. So how do you do this quick catch method? Well, the first thing you do is once you have a Pokemon pulled up, you can either drag the Pokeball icon inward or the berry icon inward. And once you have it slid inwards, you will, with another finger, preferably another hand to make it easier, you will go ahead and make the throw while you are still holding the berry or the Pokeball icon. You'll go ahead and throw it at the Pokemon, and once you do that and it hits the Pokemon, you'll go ahead and click where the run button typically is in the top left, and then go ahead and click again. You will notice that the run button appears on your second click, and then you're done. If you basically want to go back and see if you caught the Pokemon, sometimes the model will still remain on the screen, and if it does, it will pull up some error like error 25, for example, and that means that you have already caught the Pokemon. If it pulls up again, you'll simply just have to catch it again and go ahead and do it. But you will save so much time doing this as opposed to going through the catch animation, watching the ball wiggle, and then of course having to wait to be able to exit. The second strategy has to do with the circle lock technique, and wow, this one has been around for a while, but it has been so beneficial to the community. So basically, if you have ever struggled with going up against raid bosses trying to catch them, you may be throwing the Pokeball a lot, end up hitting it quite a bit, just kind of missing left and right, or you end up throwing it like during the middle of a taunt, and you're like, come on, I want to be able to catch more of these legendary Pokemon. Well, basically in this case, what you can do is the circle lock technique. And what you will do is you will go ahead and hold on to the ball until you want to get down to a certain type of ring that you are comfortable with. If you just want to get it down to a great, go for a great. If you want to get it to an excellent and you're confident with your throwing ability, over time you will eventually graduate to that excellent throw. But you'll hold down the ball, you'll wait for the circle to go inwards, and once it is at the distance that you want it to be, you'll simply let go. And now it's just a waiting game. You have to wait for the Pokemon to taunt. And once the Pokemon taunts, you will go ahead and do your windup and then let the ball go. Now don't freak out, because you will sometimes have to let the ball go before the taunt is technically finished. But that's okay, because once the ball actually arrives to the Pokemon, you will see that the ring is officially back up. And what this does is it allows you to hit it pretty much every time depending on how your throws go. And at the same time, you're not going to end up getting hit with a double taunt. The Pokemon isn't going to jump, it isn't going to move around, it simply doesn't have time to. So you can pretty much guarantee that your catch rate of these raid bosses is definitely going to go through the roof if you use this method. In at the number 3 spot is related to skipping the gift animation. Now, for all of you out there who have opened up 20 gifts or have sent a lot of gifts, you know that it is unfortunately fairly time consuming. Although it is just 20, but if you go in there and open up 20 in just one sitting, it could take sometimes 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and then of course, you would rather spend your time working on something else than that. So this is where it comes into play. You can actually skip the animation of you sending gifts as well as you receiving gifts. So it actually goes on both behalves. And anybody who has been opening gifts for a long period of time definitely knows how valuable this is. But if you are curious about the way to do it, basically you're just going to click in the same spot over and over again and basically spam a particular spot. And when you do that, it forces it out of the menu, and then you don't have to watch the gift basically be wrapped up, be sent off, anything like that. You can save so much time related to this. And it's one of those things where, yes, you may save 15 seconds, maybe 20 seconds for every time that you do this. At the same time, though, the fact that it is opening up 20 gifts or you're sending a ton throughout the day, you can definitely save some time once the number of gifts increases. So this fourth trick is mostly related to people going out there and doing solos or potentially duos. How many times have you gone out and done a raid where you ended up losing by 2 seconds? You lose by 3 seconds, maybe even 4, who knows? Maybe even lose by 10, but you're like, come on. Whenever I got into the raid, I absolutely got cheated by time. I should have gotten 180, but by the time I got in, it was already at 172. If I had had the full 180 seconds, I would have been able to beat it. Well, that, my friends, is known as something called the empty party trick. Basically, all you have to do is go create an empty party team. And once you go into the raid lobby, you gotta wait for the 2 minutes to go down. Yes, come on, Niantic, let us get in there sooner. You will let it go down and you will be on your empty party. Once you are on your empty party, you will get an error message, and then it will show that the raid is starting, but you'll notice that the timer starts above the actual time. After a couple seconds pass by, you will then go over to the party that you want to use and then click rejoin the raid. When you do this, you end up gaining the seconds back, and to be honest, it's not like you're getting an advantage necessarily. You're just getting the 180 seconds that you should be getting. Sometimes you end up having an error message because of the go message going very long, and that's very unfortunate, but this empty party glitch for some reason seems to be a major fix around that until Pokemon Go can update it. So I wanted to go ahead and save this one for last because I don't think it's quite as relevant as the other 4 that we have covered. Because for most people, they definitely kind of move past this strategy, but if you are a new player, you definitely want to take advantage of this, and it's focused around doing mass evolutions. For any of you out there, you will know that doing a mass evolution session is a pretty good way to gain experience, especially a long time ago. But if you're a new player, you need to do anything and everything you can to get up as fast as possible. So go ahead and pop on that lucky egg, and if you basically go in and do this old school method, you're just going to evolve, right? And then move on to the next one. And that's all good and dandy, but what if there was a way to actually do this quicker? Well, I'm glad you're watching this video because there is. Instead of going through the entire evolution animation, the Pokemon going up, going into the sky, miraculously changing, coming back down, what you can do instead is once you hit the evolve button, you can go ahead and close out the application and then open up the application again and then move on to the next Pokemon. Closing out the application, going back in and selecting the second Pokemon and evolving it is going to save you time. Now, it may not seem as significant on a per Pokemon basis, but you can get in so much more evolutions in such a short time period because of how much time you save by just simply closing out the app as opposed to just kind of staying in it. It's definitely important to keep a tab on this type of thing because these strategies will definitely increase your overall effectiveness in the game. If you go ahead and check out some very prominent players in the community and you ask them about this, they're going to say, yeah, no, I absolutely do all of that. But I figured I would go ahead and share the knowledge for everyone, talk about it. Maybe you could share it with some new players, and then to be honest, just discuss how amazing these strategies have been for you and how amazing they have been for me. But anyways, I hope you do enjoy this video. We always end with a question of the day, and this question is, what method could you not do without if it were to end up changing in Pokemon Go? Go ahead and let me know in the comments section below, and I will see you next time. I totally forgot to mention to you that I do have a bonus clip. While I was messing around with the quick catch method, I was trying to come up with some new strategies, pressing some new buttons, just doing some weird stuff, just to see if I could find something that ends up being beneficial. And what I ended up finding wasn't necessarily beneficial, but it's something I haven't really seen anybody do, and it is definitely a funny glitch that you can do. So basically, go ahead and do the quick catch method like you would normally do. But instead of pressing the run button, go ahead and press the camera button instead. And what will happen is the Pokemon will disappear. Although you will see its name, it will basically be invisible, and you can throw Pokeballs at a ghost Pokemon. It is pretty funny. Like I said, unfortunately, it's not exactly useful, but it is something that you can definitely show your friends, and it should provide encouragement to you to go out there, try some weird stuff, because you never know. You could end up being the person who comes up with the next best game-breaking tip. I wanted to extend a huge thank you to the supporters over at Patreon. You definitely make this possible, and I 100% appreciate this support. If you are interested in supporting my channel on Patreon, definitely feel free to check out the link in the description.